Beneath the surface of things is a world a billion times smaller than we are. A dimension that holds the secrets to understanding what everything around us is made of and why. Material science incorporates several different sciences, including physics, chemistry, and engineering. And your education in material science lets you see the world from a view of synthesis, structure, properties, and performance.
To create new materials, better performing materials, lighter weight materials. They want it always, every year, they want some feature that's better.
It's a little bit of chemistry, it's a little bit of physics, it's a little bit of engineering, and sort of all mixed into one. So what a material science will do is try to either synthesize or develop a new material to perform a specific task.
Each project that you're assigned to, it may last for 3 years, it may last for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, but the science that we're gathering and what we're actually doing is going to last for posterities.
Well, you'll find material scientists everywhere. So you'll find them in industry, whether it's the automakers, whether it's the pharmaceutical companies or any variety of industries, you'll find material science.
Because everything that we do and use in this world involves materials. If a bridge fails, it might have been a materials issue. If you need a faster computer, that's often a materials issue. So the field itself drew me in because understanding materials means you can understand the world you live in better.
Careers in the sciences continue to grow each and every year. A degree in material science provides you with versatile skills in a huge array of positions available. As a focus in your science education, material science offers a lot, as it revolves around the laws and processes that affect industry like manufacturing, medicine, energy, and so much more.
The nice thing about IBM Research is that we try to think about problems that will require, say, 5 or 10 years of work to find a solution. So for example, one of the things that I work on is trying to find a replacement for the silicon transistor. So that's part of what we do is we actually build new types of chips using new materials, and we measure them and we see how they stack up against current existing technologies, and we're constantly trying to improve the process, improve the materials, improve the device architecture.
What I'm trying to do right now is find out the organic insulator. Insulator is one of the crucial parts in transistor. And for now, well, what we use is just silicon dioxide, because that's easy to make from just silicon semiconductor.
So we're trying to think of ways now of new materials that can replace the silicon down the road that can continue making these chips faster and more powerful 10, 20, and 30 years from now.
So as a materials and processes engineer, I'm assigned to a specific project here at Goddard Space Flight Center, and my job is to help the project choose the materials and processes that they use to build an instrument or a spacecraft. If they have any issues over the build of the spacecraft, then I help them solve those problems. So if an adhesive doesn't bond properly, then I help them figure out why it didn't bond properly and how to fix that. I also review and approve every material, lubricant, fastener, and process that they use in that build.
I focus on the nanoscale, and the reason we look at things in such a small, detailed scale is that we can get new phenomena out of the material and new properties out of the material when we scale it down. I work on hydrogen storage materials, and these are materials that are in powder form. We want the hydrogen as a gas so that we can use that as a fuel in fuel cells to generate electricity.
So I work across maybe 10 different labs. There's all kinds of tools that I work with. So a couple of the tools are actually making materials, growing materials. And then eventually I'll make my materials into devices. I'll build full devices. So in my case, from start to finish, I build solar cells every week. I start from just a blank substrate, and one by one I grow out the layers of a solar cell. At the end of the week, I test my solar cell.
So with a chemistry and material science background, you could end up in industry, in private industry, working in a chemical plant. You could end up working in a scientific lab. You could work for the government in a job like I do, providing assurance work.
You find them in the automotive industry. Again, material scientists who try to find new materials that are, for example, light and strong or perform a specific function. We have some of the world's best, or the country's best national labs. There's a lot of fine universities, of course. There's a lot of biotechnology.
The implant industry, for example, any kind of prosthetics, anything that's going into the body, it's very important that we understand the properties of the material. But there's also an area where we can put antibacterial coatings on these materials to make sure that when after they're implanted in the body, that they don't do any kind of damage.
The whole cosmetic industry needs people that are able to improve their products.
So if you want to be right involved, right at the center of building something from the ground up, if you want to build the next generation of any technology, physical technology you can imagine, you need materials to do that. You need to be working on material science, understanding how the materials work, how you can make them work better.
That's what I want students to take away from NJCU.
Inside of every computer chip, you have transistors. Inside of every hard drive that you buy, there's some piece of technology involving magnetic memory that somebody in a lab invented. And you could be that person. You could be that person inventing the next physical technology that everybody's going to use. That's exciting.